I'm grateful to be part of MVUU because for me, it is such a loving, warm, supportive community that I can share my joys with and is there to comfort me in times of crisis and stress. So for those who don't know me, I am Michelle Vitastini, and I have been a member of MVUU for about 12 years. And we've been focused on grief this month, a profound part of the human experience. My background as a counseling psychologist was primarily in the field of dealing with the severely mentally ill. But I became increasingly focused on bereavement due to my own journey with grief. When I married Ray, I had the honor of becoming a stepmother to two wonderful boys. Matthew, the oldest one, at the age of 20, was in a car accident and resulted in a vegetative state. To honor his natural mother's wishes, we decided to just let him remain in that state and not do any interventions to discontinue his life. 20-year-olds don't have advance directives, and so we sat with Matthew for 18 years before he died of a natural death. During that time, there was a clear distinction for us between loss, which happened at the accident, and 18 years later when he died. During that time, I received the love and support of Ray, as well as additional therapeutic support and counseling to get through the grieving process. I also learned during that time to reflect on and to come to more comfort with the whole concept of death. People grieve in their own way. However you grieve is the right way to be grieving, and there is no timetable for it. So with all of this background, I decided that I wanted to volunteer at a hospice, and I went through training at Casa de la Luz, and first became a companion to folks who were dying. And the past 6 years, I have been working as a facilitator for their bereavement groups. Casa de la Luz provides, and I don't know if we have the screen or if it's going to be at the end, contact information, but they provide bereavement services free of cost to anybody who's in the community. There are drop-in groups, there are workshops, there's individual counseling, and events to support people who are dealing with their losses. There is great comfort in sharing with people who get you, who understand what you're going through. Friends and family want to be able to be there, want to say the right things, but to sit with other people who are really in a stage like you are really feels intensely supportive. I have witnessed people enter with their acute pain and go through their grief journey and evolve stronger and more peaceful. And that is what I hope for everyone, since all of us at one time or another have grieved or will be grieving. It's really important to use other resources that are there. I've provided to MVUU 2 copies of what I consider to be the handbook on grieving and hope, and it's Alan Wolfert. It's called Understanding Your Grief, and there are 2 paperback copies that are in the library. I encourage you to use them. They make a world of difference for people. For further information and to register for services, when the contact information is shown, call Casa de la Luz, ask for the bereavement department, and they will advise you how to register for the different opportunities that they have. I would just like to end it with a poem that I usually use in the group, and I think it kind of sums up my feelings about grief. I had my own notion of grief. I thought it was a sad time that followed the death of someone you love, and you had to push through it to get to the other side. But there's no pushing through, but rather there's an absorption, adjustment, acceptance. And grief is not something you complete, but rather you endure. Grief is not a task to finish and move on, but an element of yourself, an alteration of your being, a new way of seeing, and a new definition of self. May your journey be soft.